Hey guys, this recording is called Sometimes Your Spirit Guides Give You Trick Answers in the hope that you will think for yourself and do what you know is right. Tip my head. Thank God I'm only working 6 hours tonight because I tried to get a decent sleep but only got about 6 hours. 6, 5, all I know it was like 10:20 and I was just relaxing. And then next thing you know, like it seemed like 20 minutes later, it was like 5 p.m. So I'll only be taking like 2 or 3 apples, 2 apples and an orange tonight because I'm only working 6 hours, so I had to have a meal before I go. I had a meal already actually. Um, Last year I decided to set a goal to see all of the Wellington teams of the sports that I wanted to see, which was rugby, cricket, soccer, netball, and basketball. And hopefully I get to see all the New Zealand teams too. Well, yeah, obviously um, that year ago I had already seen the Wellington rugby and the New Zealand rugby live, and now I've seen the New Zealand rugby and the New Zealand cricket live, and I've seen the Wellington rugby and the Wellington soccer live. Well, work didn't give me work on Tuesday, and um, see, yeah, I'll, I'll just tell you this. Work didn't give me work on Tuesday, and a couple of months ago, I bought a ticket to the Wellington soccer team and the Wellington cricket team. But the Wellington cricket team was this Tuesday, and I checked my portal, and so far they haven't given me any work on Tuesday. So, yay! um, yes, Slipknot was one of my. When it came to metal, they were one of my fire. Because I'm listening to maybe listening to like 10, 20 bands at one time for one genre, and there's like 3 or 4 different genres. But then a decade goes by, and all these bands are come and gone, all hundreds of them for each genre. But then I've noticed that there's always like 5 that remain, and that'll be like the 5 of that decade for that genre for me. And obviously for the 2000s, for me it was Linkin Park, Slipknot, Korn, Disturbed for the metal. Um, yeah, Linkin Park, Slipknot, Korn, Disturbed. Yep, early 2000s, Limp Bizkit, but So it's interesting because I view it as like a sign. I'm just being positive of like speeding things up, and because unfortunately I don't like the feeling of it, but there's chaos and change, and it's like all these habits that we have that we don't even know that it's just our life or whatever. Because I've noticed that I've always got a hold of my keys, but I keep dropping my keys, but I keep finding them. Drop them, I find them, and it's got to the point like now where I know when I drop my keys, I know I'll find them, and I don't even know that I dropped them. But then I'll know within like a minute later or 30 seconds later I drop them, and then I'll start looking around for them and find them. So the remember before I got into this apartment, was it this apartment? My car gave way. My um, landlord, was it landlord or someone I was paying board to, wanted me out just because we weren't getting along. So the car gave way. The landlord wanted me out, and I was still paying up that over. Was I still paying up the overdraft? No, I wasn't. No, okay, but the car gave way. The landlord wanted me out, and then it was like um, placemakers. They were just it was just a whole bunch of gang stalking in that place, but that's only one spot, and then who knows who's working there now, and there's all these other places. But I ended up in a place where, eh, there's a couple of bullies, but it's everywhere. But they've gone now, or they didn't last, so it's good. And so this all happened at the same time. So my life got an upgrade, as in like more stability. It was more stability and had more freedom to be myself because I wasn't mocked for being myself, and it was, um, yeah, just wasn't being mocked for being myself. And the car is a lot newer, and I end up moving into a place where I'm not boarding with anyone else. I mean, I got these other 18 places here, but the funny thing is some of them have different organizations they pay their rent to. Some of them have the same. And sometimes my birthday is the 13th of March, and the Slipknot concert is on the 11th of March. So I was like, what a happy birthday present, because in the 2000s, you know, my five favorite bands for metal, and then there was a hip hop. I think I've just grown. I don't know, but I was like a hip hop fan throughout the late '90s up to the 20 about 2020, and now all the new ones now is like all right, but I don't get vibing with it like I used to. Hard out all the time, and now I hear these old songs, and it's like for old time's sake, but at the same time, it's like it's nothing new. Anyway, let's get to this recording, because discipline, dopamine, I feel lonely sometimes because I'm not doing this every day, and the ADHD group and the autism group weren't getting together, as in like they didn't have the group gatherings over the Christmas New Year period, and I missed the first ADHD gathering because I had to go to work. I think it was, yes, and then I have to miss this next one because they got me working on Wednesday 5 p.m. till 2 in the morning. Um, okay. See, sometimes what's the truth. You know what's the truth. Okay, when it comes to the truth, and sometimes you might seek God, and this is in the Bible too, because remember in the Bible he put a lying spirit into the mouth of the false prophets, or what they call false prophets, those who serve other gods. So it's like that, and sometimes Odin does the same thing, because they'll say silly things that is not true, and you're like, that is so ridiculous. Like, for example, you might have met someone, a woman, for example, and you might have met her like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then so you're like praying, and what should I do in this relationship, and what is there to be learnt, and is she um, gonna be a partner in my life, and that and then you hear this voice say, "Oh, she's the one," and you're like, "What?" And you're like laughing, and you're like, "Really? You got to be kidding me!" Like only like 2 or 3 weeks in, and then you say, "But I don't believe in a one. I believe in a type, and there's a type, and then there's others who are sent for lessons and everything like that, and I know these things, so it just sounds silly." And then whether it be the God of the Bible or Odin, or I'm just using examples because of different times throughout my life. So, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And when you think for yourself, because for me it's like there's a certain type. Everyone has a certain type for them. And as for an individualistic person, well, it all comes down to timing and to whether that person has fully grasped themselves and done the work needed to become their best self. And same with you. So it's a mixture of that as well as being the right type, and it's this timing too.